It began as a whisper in the sky, a true story that sounds impossible until you realize it happened above our heads in real time. One man, no flight experience, one pilot, unconscious, and a calm voice on the radio that became the difference between life and death. This is the story of how a single signal, transmitted from Earth to sky, became the most human sound in aviation history. The date was May 10th, 2022. The world below went on as usual, but high above the Bahamas, a Cessna 208 Grand Caravan drifted through thin blue air. At 12,000 feet, its pilot, Kenneth Allen, suddenly went silent. His hands fell. His body slumped forward. In seconds, the aircraft began to dive. 2 passengers watched the horizon tilt as gravity turned the cabin into chaos. Among them sat Darren Harrison, a floor installer from Florida. No training, no co-pilot, no chance. At least, that's what everyone on the ground would have thought. The aircraft plummeted, spinning, air screaming past the windows. Darren climbed forward, his pulse matching the warning alarms. And there, in the pilot's seat, he realized a truth too sharp to bear. He was completely alone. He grabbed the controls, his hands trembling. Somehow, he pulled the plane out of its death spiral. The wings leveled, the sound softened, then he spotted the radio. Darren didn't even know what frequency to call, but he pressed the button and spoke the most haunting words any control tower could hear. "I have a serious situation here. The pilot is incoherent. I have no idea how to fly this airplane." In Fort Pierce Tower, the controller on duty, Chip Flores, froze. A passenger, alive, airborne and clueless. He had no idea where the plane was. No radar tag, no coordinates, just a fading voice and panic breathing through static. Flores's first command was simple but vital: maintain wings level and try to follow the coast. It was the only lifeline he could throw until help arrived. Within minutes, radar screens lit up in the Palm Beach control room. Every voice turned to one man, Robert Morgan, a veteran air traffic controller and a certified flight instructor. He had been on break, reading a book, when someone shouted his name. Morgan rushed into the radar room and took the headset. "Palm Beach approach," he said calmly. "You're doing great, Darren. We'll get you home." Morgan had never flown a Cessna 208, but he knew flight. He pulled up a picture of the cockpit on his screen, memorizing every switch and dial in seconds. Then, with a voice like gravity itself, steady, invisible, unbreakable, he began teaching a man how to fly, mid-air. "Look to your right," he said. "Find the throttle. That's your power. Now ease it back. Good, you're flying the airplane now." For 30 minutes, Morgan guided Darren through turbulence, tears, and sheer terror. The man in the cockpit wasn't just fighting altitude. He was fighting the feeling that every breath could be his last. But down below, an entire team of controllers cleared airspace, delayed departures, and held their collective breath. Palm Beach International would now become his runway, or his grave. Morgan spoke slowly, breaking flight into fragments of courage. "You're going to see the lights of Palm Beach soon. Keep the shoreline on your right. You're doing great." Every syllable was deliberate. Every pause was mercy. This wasn't about landing. It was about keeping a human being from shattering under impossible pressure. Stand by. The story continues in 3, 2, 1. But first, if this broadcast has cut through the noise for you, remember to secure your signal by subscribing. Don't miss the next transmission. The debt is about to be paid. As Darren neared the coastline, the world seemed to hold still. Every departing jet was grounded. Fire crews lined the runway. Reporters, pilots, and passengers across frequencies listened in silence as a man with no training approached an airport built for giants. Morgan's final words were soft. "The runway might look narrow, but it'll widen as you descend. Keep pulling back slowly. You've got this." At 12:27 p.m., the Cessna's wheels hit the tarmac. Hard but safely. The aircraft bounced once, then rolled straight and steady. Inside the control room, a wave of sound broke out. Cheers, tears, disbelief. Morgan asked one last question. "You on the ground?" Darren replied, his voice cracking. "I'm on the ground. What do you want me to do now?" The plane stopped. Silence filled the cockpit. Darren set the brakes, shut down the engine, and sobbed quietly. On the ground, rescue teams rushed to the scene. The pilot, Kenneth Allen, was still alive. His chance at survival owed entirely to Darren's courage and a stranger's calm instructions. That transmission had bought time and life. When they finally met on the runway, Darren didn't speak. He simply hugged Robert Morgan. The two men, one drenched in sweat, one still wearing a headset, stood in the Florida sun as sirens wailed around them. It wasn't just a reunion. It was proof that sometimes the human voice, even through static, can be stronger than fear itself. Morgan later told reporters, "I was just doing my job." But deep down, he knew it wasn't that simple. He had reached into the sky and pulled a man back to Earth, not with instruments but with empathy, precision, and faith. It's the kind of heroism that doesn't demand applause. It just asks to be remembered. Before the transmission ends, we want to hear your signal. Have you ever experienced a moment of intense, unexpected kindness like this? Share your personal transmission, your stories, theories, and ideas in the comments below. And let us know should the next great radio broadcast take us back to the high skies or out to the deep ocean. Robert Morgan returned to work the next day. No medals, no ceremony. Just another sunrise, another radar screen, another plane in the air. But every time he heard static on the radio, he remembered that day. A day when a terrified passenger found faith through a frequency. A day when a human voice became divine guidance. And somewhere above the clouds, where fear meets courage, the echo of that call still travels. Palm Beach approach. I have no idea how to fly this airplane. Yet somehow that signal, fragile, trembling, human, found its landing. If this story reached your signal tonight, don't drift away. Stay tuned, stay curious, and stay grounded. Subscribe to Radion, where true stories still find their frequency.